Okay, so you know J.K. Rowling, she made those books that I didn't really like that much, but a bunch of other people did, and it turned into a whole thing, and now she's a billionaire. Well, J.K. Rowling was from birth cursed with a tragic defect known as being British, and an unfortunate byproduct of that condition is a seething hatred, just a festering dislike of transgender people. It is insane. I'm not joking you. This is real. A new book penned by J.K. Rowling finds her private detective protagonist, Cormoran Strike, investigating a cis male serial killer who dresses as a woman to kill his cis female victims, according to an early write-up. I'm not joking. Now, I am, of course, reading this from Pink News. Pink is one of the 3 colors in the trans pride flag, so of course, this is a biased source, but you can go find a synopsis on the book somewhere else, because this is accurate. Whoo boy. No, it's real. No, I know there are people in chat. Listen, this is incredible, okay? This would be, because initially J.K. Rowling just made like insensitive comments about trans people, remember? It was like some off-color comments, and she supported some bad people, and that was like initially like 2-3 years ago, and now we're here, you know? This would be like if somebody made some mildly racist comments, you know, like you know, some maybe they say something about like thugs in the inner city, but they don't really do that. And then 3 years later, they're writing books about how race mixing tears communities apart, and how it's best for people to be kept to their own kind. Like it's not just doubling or tripling down. We are spiraling the fucking bathroom drain right now, okay? We are being flushed down the toilet. It is insane. Yeah, it's the first review for Troubled Blood, that's the name of the book, describes it as a book whose moral seems to be never trust a man in a dress. Now, anyone who's familiar with my content on this channel should know that the greatest crime here is the discrimination this will foster against cisgender men who just want to wear dresses. Am I right, fellas? Any femboys out there? All right, no. Seriously though, the this is fucking insane. It's impossible for me to overstate. So we'll just listen. The article's really short. We'll go through it, but then we'll ramble, okay? According to the Telegraph, the meat of the, get ready for it, 900-page novel is an investigation into a cold case, the disappearance of a woman in 1974, believed to be the victim of a cis male serial killer whose modus operandi is dressing as a woman. 900 pages. One wonders what critics of Rowling's stance on trans issues will make of the book, writes reviewer Jake Carriage. The book was immediately criticized on social media. Troubled Blood is the 5th entry in Rowling's Cormoran Strike series, penned under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. So, believe it or not, this 900-page TERF manifesto was penned under a male name. The second in the series, The Silkworm, has previously been criticized over its depiction of a trans character described as unstable and aggressive. In the book, the woman, Pippa, stalks Strike before attempting to stab him. After the attack, the titular detective manages to trap Pippa in his office, where her trans identity and dead name are revealed. At this point, J.K. Rowling describes the character's Adam's apple in hands, with the Strike character warning that the prison won't be fun for you, quote, won't be fun for you, not pre-op. Trans journalist Caitlin Burns reviewed the passage for them in 2018, writing, "It's an entirely common, though insulting trope about trans women that they are aggressive and unable to overcome their masculine nature, not to mention villainous, that it has blah, 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 criticism, obviously it's transphobic." Let's get to my criticism, okay? So, the name is the name of the creator of modern conversion therapy? Wait, is that true? That really? You're just gonna write our book after fucking... Oh my god. Dude! Robert Galbraith Heath. Holy shit, for real? He was an American psychiatrist, died in 1999, followed the theory of biological psychiatry that organic defects were the sole source of mental illness and mental problems could be treated through physical means. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. Yeah, this isn't like removing the mask. This is like skinning your face until you just see like the fat and the muscular, striations. Like we have dug very, very deep. We're tunneling through the skull. Yeah, it's skeleton. It's bone time, my friends. We have entered the bone zone. I feel like, in fact, I feel like me describing why this is bad is almost a wasted effort because it's so obviously fun. Because when it comes to like trans stuff, this is like the equivalent of me talking about the anti-Semitism to people posting like the Hunkler clown, echoing everything they say and talking about, oy vey goyim, we wouldn't want to upset our masters over there in Israel, would we? And then I see that on YouTube, and I'm like, let me explain to you why this is anti-Semitic. Like it feels like a little bit of a wasted effort. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I feel like they've done the work for me. Don't take that out of context. I feel like I've been spared the effort a little bit here. I'm sorry. It's really dumb. It's very dumb. How do you do this, dude? J.K. Rowling was on top of the fucking world. She was a beloved celebrity superstar responsible for writing one of the most influential book series in all of modern history. She was a fucking queen. Not ethically speaking, but, in terms of her relative influence. And she tossed all of it away. She threw all of it away. All of her goodwill. And now she is entirely 100% doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this transphobia thing. She'll die on this hill. She can't let it go. How do they do this? Transphobia is a disease, people. Now, we can clarify. What is the definition of a mental illness, okay? A mental illness is an atypical neural state which inhibits your ability to live happily, to form relationships, to work, to prosper, so on, right? That's generally the definition. What is transphobia, then? Because the mythical transvestite murderer, secret fake trans woman who slaughters other real women in the bathroom, this black sheep, this like unicorn, is haunting her dreams. I don't know what J.K. Rowling, I don't know what happened to her. I don't know if she had some boyfriend who was stolen by a trans woman back in college. I don't know. Did like her father leave her when she was young, and like her mother like had hooked up with like a trans woman, and they had loud lesbian sex, and J.K. Rowling is like a 12-year-old, just has like the pillow folded over her head as she sleeps, like sobbing, like one day, I genuinely have no idea. Like, there has to be some sort of deep, festering, like, internal, irrational hatred, because this is, again, an unfathomably influential, wealthy person who is just tossing all of it into the fire. It's insane. I can try to address, like, the underlying arguments here, I guess. So this idea that, like, men are dressing up as women to do harm is not borne out in okay, we have to break this argument down. It's not even an argument, okay, but we'll break it down anyway, okay? So, first of all, hold on to your hats, folks. Sexual assault is illegal. So, if you're a man and you go into a woman's bathroom looking like me, you kick open the door, I'm a man, and you do a sexual assault, that's illegal. And if you go in there dressed up like a lady and you say, I'm not, and then you do a sexual assault, duplicitously assuming the guise of the femoid, that is also the exact same crime, It's not like people are getting let off for rape, but then booked on entering the wrong bathroom. Like, general prosecutors aren't like, okay, listen, we weren't able to get the sexual assault charges to stick, okay? But that was not the right bathroom to be in. Like, this isn't how it works. It's not how it works at all. It doesn't matter. That's not how any of this happens. Listen, are there trans women who commit crime? Yeah, of course. Any demographic of people commit crime. Any number of people. There are enough trans women, statistically speaking, that you can probably find at least one of them who's done any number of things. I imagine, just through math. But is there like a disproportionate amount of violence being committed by trans women in like public spaces? No. Now, there is disproportionate violence being committed against them in public spaces. That is true. That is a thing that happens. That is a true thing, you know. But it's not. First of all, so the question isn't even whether or not trans women commit disproportionate violence, because you know who commits the most disproportionate violence of all? It's cisgender men. So if we're impugning groups of people exclusively based off disproportionate violence, then we already have the easiest demographic to go after. So the argument isn't just disproportionate violence. The argument is that trans women are duplicitously weaponizing femininity as a way to get away with crimes they couldn't have gotten away with otherwise. Now, there is a grain of truth to this, okay? There is a grain of truth to this. And it's that women get less time for the same crime. And you can believe that is because they get too low of sentences, or because men tend to get too high. Whichever direction you want to go, but that remains the truth. The issue is that benefit of getting less time for the same crime, mostly experienced by cis women, not so much trans women. You know, gonna go out on a limb here, gonna say most of the social privileges that cis women are afforded don't generally also go to most trans women, you know? It's like when people are like, oh, you're a trans man, so that means you're part of patriarchy now. Well, that's not necessarily how you so it's not like the patriarchs who have stood atop the world since the beginning of time are like a coalition of trans and non-binary and cisgender masculine people. It's mostly cis men. That's kind of like the assumed sort of, you know, hegemonic identity there. So likewise, the idea that like trans women are weaponizing the benefits you get socially from being a woman to commit more crime, it's hogwash. It's horseshit. It's not a thing that's happening. It's not a thing that's happening. It's not. But the fear of this happening is so overwhelming in the minds of these people. They will sell their fucking careers out. They will pile drive their public reputation into the ground to attack this ghost, this like mythological creature, you know? It is insane. It's you know what it is? It's not just hogwash. It's malarkey. I'm busting it out. I'm going for the full boomer descriptor. It's true. Yeah, it's true. It is. Yeah. It's malarkey. It's true. And Biden would know it too. No, an ally of trans people, Biden. Okay, yes. Bernie would know it. Bernie doesn't say malarkey. It's one of my main problems with Bernie Sanders. He doesn't say malarkey. Anyway, it's fucking crazy. Can you imagine if this was about gay people? I know transphobia is in vogue in England. I know they're really hip to that shit. Can you imagine if this was about gay people, where somebody made like an insensitive comment about gay people 3 years ago, and now they're making like books about how gay people are pedophilic predators, and you're writing these books under a pen name that's like the name of like a famous conversion therapist? It's unbelievable. Yeah. I've said this before. I'll say it again because it remains true. J.K. Rowling is a fucking lunatic, and she was never that. You know what? She was never that talented. She was never that talented. I'm going to say it right now, okay? Listen, you're a lefty. You agree with me, okay? A lot of success ends up being time and place. The world was looking. The world was looking for that fucking book series to latch onto during that time period. All right? I've read Harry Potter. Listen, okay? It's fine. It's fine. I've read other young adult novels. They're really not that much. The gap in quality, if there even is one, is fairly insubstantial. A lot of this really does come down to preferential favoritism. You know, that's just how it is. Sometimes the ebb and flow of fate. Harry Potter is so good. No, the world of Harry Potter is adequately described, and you read it when you were in a place in your life when you were desperately looking for something magical to whisk you off your feet and take you away from the mundanity of real world. But that is essentially what Harry Potter served as a function of. There's a reason why when you read Harry Potter, most of the adults back then were not, like, they were not interested in it. And now, of course, the adults alive today, they grew up on it, so now, of course, they remember it fondly. But I bet you a lot of you go back and read it again. Wasn't that goddamn good? Wasn't that goddamn good? Harry Potter, no personality whatsoever. Blank slate for you to project yourself onto. Not that good. Harry Potter had a lot of weird shit in it, too. You know? There was like the Jewish goblin, the hook-nosed goblins who controlled all the gold, you know? What was that one tweet J.K. Rowling did where somebody asked her, like, I'm Jewish and I want to know if there was a wizard over there in Hogwarts who was Jewish too? And she was like, sure there is. Henry Goldstein. Oh no, Anthony Goldstein. That was it. Yeah. She was like, yeah, here you go, kid. And she like she draws on like a napkin with a Sharpie, and it's like some giant hook-nosed monstrosity. Like, here you go, kid. Anthony Goldstein. Here you go. Jewish wizard. Yeah, the Irish guy who blew everything up. Yeah. And the slavery shit, dude. That got weird too. You ever thought, remember back in like, it's been a while. Remember back in like, I think it was book 5, where Hermione was trying to free literal chattel slaves, and everyone thought she was just being like a big fucking Karen about it. Remember that? Remember? Remember that? She was all like, we have a literal entire species that are enslaved and conditioned to be desperate for our approval to the point that they'll be our fucking blood slaves for their entire lives. And everyone was like, fucking Hermione. Hermione, you fucking busybody. They like being slaves. What do you want? It's a little weird. Just a little weird. Just a smidge weird. Yeah. It's just a little. And they don't even do anything to lift themselves out of oppression. They have to like be It's like, oh, thank you, Master Harry Potter, for the sock. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to pretend I remember enough about Harry Potter to levy a substantive critique about the themes in that book. But yeah, it was pretty fucking weird. But hey, at least it wasn't Sir Galbraith, father of conversion therapy, penning a novel about a transvestite slaughtering cis women, you know? Or another novel where there's a transgender woman who apparently gets an Adam's apple biopsy for 6 pages of the fucking novel. Jesus Christ. But this is what we'll end this, okay? This is what hate does to people. Unironically, though. It's not just that these books are bigoted, it's also that they're low quality. At least from all the criticism I've seen online, these aren't even these really aren't like that good of books. Even if you're just looking at the underlying, like quality, not just like the social themes, but the actual like talent that went into writing it. And hate really is a disease. It really is. You've seen this in other people before. People with legitimate talent, people with legitimate interest, with legitimate vigor, having all of their unique characteristics sapped as all their arguments and beliefs slowly fall in line with the particular archetype of bigotry that they've been pulled into, There's less and less to distinguish them. There's less and less to make them unique. There's less and less merit. I'm not talking about Destiny, you fucking drama mongers. Holy shit. I was mostly referring to Glinner here as well, but there are plenty of other people that fall into this. Jesus Christ. And they fall into this trap, and eventually they just become hollow shells of what they used to be. And the saddest thing is that J.K. Rowling will die mad. See, you guys were so dumb, chat, bugged out for a second. J.K. Rowling will die mad, you know? Like, I don't think she's going to get pulled out of this. She has plenty of money. She has plenty of people around her. It's clearly not working. She's not being pulled to her senses. She's going to die mad. She's going to spend her entire life watching the world grow more and more accepting of trans people, watching trans people be more visibly exposed in British media, seeing them walking down the street, if they present, I guess, in a way which indicates they're trans or something. On TV, more representation, more exposure, more acceptance. And yeah, and she's going to overdose on copium. Yeah. She's just going to get angrier and angrier and angrier. She's going to think, what about the woman bathrooms, the female bathrooms, they're going to fucking attack. But they're not, because there was never any data to ever indicate that was a real problem. It was just something she got fed. And she was willing to trade her entire life and her emotional well-being for it. It's pathetic. We have a lot of weirdos here on the left. My experience within it, my time here in it has taught me that. But we don't have people like this. And not to the same extent either. We certainly don't have uber wealthy, successful, famous people on the left who end up degrading like this. We don't get pulled into hate vortexes the way they do. Sad.